Hi, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for better success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And we're going to get right to our guest today. And in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Keith. My name is Terry Whalin, and I'm an editor at Morgan James Publishing, and I also write books. I've written more than 60 books for traditional publishers.
Lots of good experience. And, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs and leaders out there that have thought about a book and maybe even contemplated it more than just once, but don't know what they're doing or anything. So I think this is an interesting topic for a lot of leaders. And
Thanks.
We look forward to your insights. So question number 2, just to kind of get us started, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
Well, for me, that I consider myself a book guy, Keith. And I think one of the best things about being a book guy and in this publishing business is that books can go anywhere. I mean, they can really change people's lives. That's the amazing thing that I think is possible with a book. It can go places that I can never get. I can never travel to those places and meet those people, but they can find my book and they can read my book, and that could change their life by reading that book.
Well, and it's one of those things that you can always reread, right?
That's right.
So if it's like a help or, an educational book, you can always go back and brush up on it as well. So
Sure.
Great resource. All right. Question number 3. I hear from other business leaders that a lot of times their people strategy can be more challenging than their business strategy in their business. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree. The people are really what drives this whole thing, and that strategy with them is very important. But I also think people need to look at themselves and figure out what they need to do as an individual to be a better person. So maybe they need to listen more. Maybe they need to focus on that other person more than themselves. Just some strategies like that would be a great thing to just help them develop as an individual.
Very true. We definitely need to look at ourselves and work on improving that. A lot of times, the businesses I work with, the business owner can be kind of the cog that's causing the problem sometimes. But all right. So question number 4, what's the strategy that you would like to share with other business leaders?
Well, the strategy, Keith, that I would like to share with other business leaders is really why do a book in the first place, the authority of a book, and how that book can really, like I was saying before, can get places that you as a person may never go, and how important it is to do one. There were 1.6 million self-published books last year. But the dirty little secret that most people don't realize is that on average, those books sell somewhere between 100 and 200 copies during the lifetime of the book. And many of them are poorly produced. They don't really help the individual per se. So there's a lot of misconceptions about publishing. And I did a book called 10 Publishing Myths, Insights for Every Author to Succeed. And really what I was trying to do in that book is to help people understand that they have a lot of fantasy. Most people have a lot of fantasies when it comes to books. They think my book's going to be a New York Times bestseller, but yet they don't do anything to get out there and really sell their book. They think that first-time authors never can get published when they can get published, but you have to get published the right way. And so part of what really drives me is to help people really get their books out there in the best possible way and to really be successful with that book.
That's awesome. And, hopefully, obviously they've got to write the book and they've got to come up with the content. But yeah, like you said, marketing and how to do that can make a huge difference.
It can. And even if they haven't written their book, I can help them on that too, because one of the things I've been doing here for years is helping other people write their books. And so if some CEO or entrepreneur is listening to me and wants to reach out to me, I'd be happy to explore that with them as well.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much. And really appreciate the strategy and the insights. So question number 5, what other successful business owners or CEOs like yourself would you like to maybe do a shout out to, or you think would be good on the podcast?
Well, I was trying to think of that, and I think one of the key people that I would like to give a shout out to is David Hancock. He's the founder of Morgan James Publishing that I've been working for the last 8 years. David is the guy that started this whole company. He's one of the most upbeat, positive people that I've ever met, Keith. You ask David how he is, and he'll always say his answer 100% is always absolutely incredible, is how he'll tell you how he's doing. And he tells me that even if he doesn't feel absolutely incredible, he usually does by the time he says that. And so he's really one of the most positive, upbeat people. I mean, to be honest, as running a publishing company, not every author loves you, and we have some authors that come back, we're going to sue you and we're going to do this and this and this. And every time David just comes back gently and says, yeah, I hear you, let's talk about that. Or, something that really just diffuses the whole thing, which is pretty remarkable to have that kind of skill, I think.
Well, and positive people are, kind of infectious. They're good to be around, and they make other people happier and get along with the people. So that's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to see if he's available. So question number 6, just kind of a final fun question. Tell me about one of your favorite past bosses.
One of my favorite past bosses would probably be Roger Garland. I worked for 17 years with Wycliffe Bible Translators, and Roger was actually my boss when I worked at our headquarters office in Huntington Beach, California. He was the vice president of editorial back then, and I worked with Roger, and he just was a great leader with us. He had translated a New Testament with his wife in Papua New Guinea, but yet he really listened to us and helped guide us, but didn't kind of get in the way of what we were doing as sort of worker bees in that bunch, producing things in print. So I really appreciate Roger as a boss.
Well, awesome. It sounds like he was a great guy and really kind of mentored you and stuff. So that's really good.
He did.
Well, it's great having you on. Before we leave, can you tell people how they might be able to connect with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I think I have 19,000 connections on LinkedIn. They can find me there. I'm on Twitter. I have almost 200,000 followers on Twitter. And on Twitter, which is just my name, Terry Whalin, my email address is actually in my Twitter profile at Twitter, terry@terrywhalin.com. People say that I'm one of the easiest guys in publishing to reach. And I do try to do that and answer my emails and all that kind of thing.
Well, that's a good way to be. People like to connect with other people, and you'd be a great connection for, I think, a lot of the listeners to just connect with and be a part of, the things that you're putting out there, whether they're ready to write a book or not. So.
Well, thanks, Keith. I always love to help people however I can, and I try to take that stance with them, whatever they're contacting me about.
Well, and it's great having you on and hearing your insights. And again, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. And for more insights, you can follow us at Weaver Business Coaching. You can find us on LinkedIn, and you can also listen to us, of course, on your favorite podcast platform. And we wish you all the best success.